schedule. So this is how you're going to schedule your quarter out. Let's just go ahead. We'll do Expedition Rangers as an example because I've already set up a schedule for these three groups. So all you have to do is click on the plus sign for your age group, and it will let you set up a schedule. You select the date and time that you want to start. So this is when your first meeting will take place. So let's say if I meet on Thursdays, my first meeting would be tomorrow, day of the week, the start time. Um, and we'll just and why this is important is this will be seen by parents, so parents will be able to see what your schedule is. So if you say, if you just kind of fill it in and don't really pay attention to it, you parents will be seeing it on their schedule, or could see it on their schedule, and it could become a problem. So um, and then we just set up the schedule. This gives you a little tab like this. We'll drill into one of these. Now, your schedule will come automatically pre-filled in with the national recommended merits. You do not have to do these, but if you follow this guide, you'll never repeat a merit in a 3-year cycle, and you will ensure that in the first quarter, a required skill merit is always taught. The reason for that is that we just want to make sure that if you are going down the path of a GMA, that a required skill merit is always taught. Okay, so this is how your schedule is set up. Let's take a couple looks at a few things you can do in here. Now, inside of your next week meeting, you can print your guide and print your curriculum, and that's an easy way to do it. You can also do some printing up here. We can just take a look at print the schedule. And here we can see what we're going to be teaching each week, and then a drill in of the actual meeting lessons for each week. Okay, so that is print your schedule. If I come over here and I do print guide, I can print this week or next week or this month, right? And that's just a quick, easy way for me to print my lesson guide. And we'll just take a look at that. Oh, there's no lesson found for this period because I had a delay in my outpost. And I'll show you how to do that here in a second. So I'm going to be looking at next week. And then here's my guide for next week. Kind of gives me everything I have, the commander's packet, the boys handout, which is usually just their Bible study. You do have your downloaded items here, your skill merit sheets for first aid skill, if that's what you're teaching. And so this is just a great little way to print that guide for your boys. You can view the national setup, right? So if you click here, we can see what the national recommended merits are, and then we can take a look at next quarter and see what the national recommended merits are for next quarter. Okay, so you can kind of see those two items if you want to just take a little sneak peek of what's to come. And then this patrol schedule, this is how you actually add a whole separate schedule. Maybe you divide your boys up by age group. This is very effective for Ranger kids. If you have a large Ranger kids group and you divide them by age group, maybe you have and Discovery Rangers, your third and fourth graders in one group, but then your fifth graders in a different group. And you want to teach a whole different schedule. You want to teach a whole different merit for them. They're on a whole different path. You can add a patrol schedule, assign those older boys to a patrol, and then have that schedule tie in and assign those merits. Okay, so that's what your tabs up here look like and what they're for. So let's come down here to see what you have. So you can kind of open this up and just take a little peek and see what's going on in this meeting week. But here is really where you can customize for yourself what skill merit you want to work on. So let's say I want to work on, let's say I don't want to work on first aid skills. Let's say I want to swap that merit out. So I'm going to do my 3 dots here. I'm going to swap my merit out. And do I want to swap the whole merit out or just 1 week? Maybe something's going on that week and I just won't be able to teach it. If I want to swap the whole merit just 1 week, normally you're going to do the whole merit. And I'm going to look for merits that are just weekly, right? Because because the non-weekly are those ones that are just you can teach it all at once. It's usually doesn't have a lot of requirements in it. So I'm going to look for merits that are just weekly. And I'm going to say I want to swap it out for, let's say, the art merit. The next question is going to ask me is, hey, is this mapping right? Week one for week one, lesson one, all this mapping. That's right. Looks good. Now this is where you can get really customized, and in general, 99% of you will skip over this. But if you say, I know in week number 2, I am not going to be able to cover requirements 5. I'm just going to go ahead and edit that, and I can come in. I can take off requirement 5 for week number 2, and then I'm going to be doing requirement number 5 in week number 3. And then I'll just come over here to week number 3, and I'll add requirement 5 to week number 3, and I'll save that swap. Why that's important is because that is kind of what does the sign off as you're working through the merits, right? And so that's where your sign off comes into play, okay? And so now we can see the requirements are assigned. The days are it automatically put that art merit in there. It's now baked into my curriculum. The same is true for Bible merits. Now again, if you never swap out your Bible merits, then you're never going to have an issue where, did I teach that? Did we already cover that? That kind of thing. So we're just going to swap Bible study. We're going to do the whole book, and I'm going to say I want Joshua. Swap it, and now Joshua will be those next 5 weeks. That's really just kind of how easy it is to swap out merits. Let's take a few other things. We can schedule a leadership lesson in here. If I want to be doing a leadership lesson, we can do that. We can edit the meeting guide. Now, this is an interesting one. Let's say there is something in that meeting guide that you're not going to do. For instance, let's say it is recreation. And instead of doing these 2 things, you're going to do a special recreation. You can actually put that in here for this specific meeting and save it, and that will save it to just your group. We'll save it to your outpost, and then everyone in your outpost is going to know that's what we're doing. The same is true with devotion. Maybe you're doing a special church devotion, and you're going to swap out devotion. Maybe there's something you want to do special for closing ceremony. You can edit that meeting guide so everybody in your group, everyone in your outpost, can see that's what we're doing this week. Okay. The next thing we'll take a look at, change date. So let's say I messed up here and I actually need to change this date back over, and I want to change it back over here to the 12th. Is going to move my date to the 12th. Okay. Now, what it won't do when you change just a date, it really won't change anything down here because you're just changing that date. But let's say the pastor said we're going to have a revival this week, and we're not going to be able to have Rangers on the 29th. I'm going to go ahead and just postpone that meeting, okay? And when I postpone that meeting, it actually changes all of my dates down here and pushes all of my weeks back 1 week. If I remove that postpone, I would say, nope. We're actually going to, revival got canceled, we got rained out, whatever. I remove that postpone. It's going to change me back to the 22nd and change all of my dates back to that weekly. This is very effective right now. In the future, we'll have something for you where you can do an every other week meeting if you meet every other week. But if you are meeting every other week and you just, this is a great way to postpone that weekly meeting, so you can meet every other week. Okay, so just a good way to do it, real quick, and just postpone. Now, cancel will just cancel just that meeting, and it really won't do anything else down here. It won't move anything else down here. It's like, I just want to cancel this, and we'll pick up over here. So your boys are not going to be taught this section. So for whatever reason, maybe you're at the end of the quarter and you just can't get to it, you got to cancel it, whatever it is. Just be aware, cancel is much different than postpone, because cancel is actually shutting that meeting down. Now down here is Sync with National Office. I just want to warn you on this. It will override your meetings. Okay, so let me just change the schedule right here real quick and just say we meet on the 13th. Update the entire schedule. Okay. So if I wanted to sync with the national office, I'm like, yeah, I kind of messed up. I need to sync over here. I can continue. It's going to replace all my awards. It's going to update my weeks, and it's actually because we're into August already. This was already been taught. is going to change my skill merits. Okay, it's changing my skill merits to the national office. So that's the only advantage to syncing with the national office. If you kind of build out a schedule and said, "Oh man, now I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do something. I want to go back to what the national office is doing." You can sync with the national office. And what I would do here is I just, let's say I'll just change that date. I want to go ahead and teach it. All I got to do is just swap that merit and come over here to first aid if I wanted to and save it. And now I got first aid right there, right? Now, let's talk about Ranger Kids. So over here, I have a quick access. I'm going to click on that Ranger Kids right there. There's my Ranger Kids schedule. This is the Trail of the Antelope. I kind of know that because I know I just kind of know what these lesson plans are. I can see it if I drill into it a little bit. I can come down here and see my antelope. The program feature is the antelope. This is the Trail of Antelope. Maybe my kids are on year 2, right? Or maybe I'm going to do that patrol thing where I add multiple patrols. Down here, I can actually change my trails, and I can change it to the Wolverine Trail. And then I'll set my week that I want it to start, and that will change it to the first lesson in the Wolverine Trail. Now, I will tell you that in the next few days after the recording of this video, you'll be able to change it from Wolverine, and you will also be able to choose the animal you want. Just in case you're starting mid-quarter and you need to change the animal, you will be able to do that, okay? So just be aware of that. But right now, you can just change it between your 3 trails, and we'll start at the beginning of the year for those 3 trails. But we'll give you the customization here very shortly. Ranger Kids, there's really no swap out outside of that. You can edit the meeting guide if you wanted to, but there's really no swap out outside of that because you're not swapping anything. You're not swapping marriage or Bible studies inside the Ranger Kid curriculum. It's pretty straightforward setup. So I hope that explains the scheduling setup for you. Enjoy.